And is there anything positive or negative about the house that you think would really affect the saleability?
It's a great neighborhood and it's in good shape. We're taking good care of it.
Okay, fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Now, I'm speaking to you, are there any other decision makers that would be involved in the process?
Just my wife and I.
Okay, and will your wife be there tomorrow when I see you guys?
She wasn't planning on it. I was planning on having her come over and talk to you myself because I usually do this sort of stuff.
No, that's great, and I appreciate it, but it's going to be real important that for me to meet with all the decision makers, and I'll tell you why. This way, collectively, if you have any questions, she has any questions, we can just address that together, you know, at the same time. Can you make arrangements for her to be there tomorrow?
Sure, if you think it's important, sure.
Yeah, absolutely, great. Now, I'm going to be sending over a package of information before we meet tomorrow. Will you guys have a chance to take a few moments to review that before I come out?
Can you just share with me what's going to be in that packet?
Sure, yeah, some statistics on house sales in Trumbull, you know, some market analysis showing you some things that have sold that are homes similar to yours, some things that are on the market, some information about myself and the company. And then what we'll do is, tomorrow when we meet, we'll really spend our time focused in on establishing a value for what your house is worth. You know, we'll go through all that detail.
Will it have in there where your commission is?
We'll talk about that. I'll make a note here. I know that's important to you, but we'll discuss that. It'll be one of the first things that we talk about tomorrow.
Great.
All right.
We'll definitely do that.
Great. And do you have any other questions before I arrive?
What's your commission?
We'll make sure we discuss that tomorrow when I see you. And just so you, no problem. And just so you know, our meeting should only take between 45 minutes and an hour, depending upon how many questions you and your wife have. Okay?
Okay, great.
Okay.
Sounds great.
I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 4.
Look forward to seeing you too.
Okay.
That was great.
Bam.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's great.
So a couple of things. I mean, it gave me a little bit of a sense about the for sale by owner, just a smidge. The reason why that would be important in a really active market where things are selling quickly, more and more people will think about doing it themselves. And then in my mind, I have, some good information that I can talk them through about how it may not be in their best interest to go for sale by owner. That they certainly can do it, and you want to acknowledge that. But as an example, most for sale by owners will sell for about 12 to 16% less than they will on MLS, and that comes through NAR as an example of that statistic. The other thing is that most buyers who are working with an agent don't pay for our services. So ask yourself a question. If somebody's coming to you directly, typically they have more of a wholesale mentality. They want to get a steal, they want to get a deal, maybe want to try and pull one over your eyes. So in their mind, they're already deducting the 6% commission in their head. So, and they're typically not necessarily a qualified buyer. They may have some credit issues. They're trying to maybe get somebody to take back some money, do something. So, so those are some of the things I just throw out there, in terms of if somebody was really seriously thinking about it. And then I can show them, hey, look, even paying a 6% commission, if it's selling an average 12 to 16% higher, you're still going to be well ahead of the game. And we bring retail buyers, and other agents bring people who are willing to pay retail what the market will bear for your home. So that's the for sale by owner scenario. The other agent scenario, I always ask this question, typically at the beginning of a conversation, but certainly when I meet with them, is what is important to you in this process? Because what's important to Jeff is maybe different than what's important to Mary Joan, but you may get something really important that they say from that question. Sometimes it's the commission. Could be just the price that we're going to get for the house. But other times it could be, I just need to feel comfortable that somebody can take care of this for me. I can't really deal with it or be bothered with it. It could be numerous things, and you can hone in on what they're saying and make sure you emphasize that when you're in your, engaged in your presentation, you're talking to them as far as that goes. Also, I wanted to get a sense, didn't really push it too hard. Typically, I'll push a little bit more on the price, I'll joke around about it, most people have looked on Zillow, Jeff, most people have looked on these sites or looked at the town and see what they have them assessed for, so, you don't have any sense, you're thinking 500, 600, 700, normally somebody will give you an idea. And I just had a conversation with a gentleman, it was a referral to me, and the first thing I asked is, you know, how long have you been in the house? You know, I'm on the phone, I'm in the car. And we bought in 2005, and I'm like, dun, dun, dun. I'm like, danger, danger, because I know that's, you know, that was our highest real estate market. So now I'm saying, oh my gosh. So of course, then I asked the next question: how much do you think the house is worth? And he said, oh, we paid $490, and we put X into it. I think it's worth about $525. Now I'm like, there's no way it's worth $525. You're not even close to $525. So, you know, then I just probe about motivation. You know, if you sell, where are you going? Why are you going? Why now? And all that sort of stuff. So I left them a message today. It'll be interesting, but the importance of asking the question, if I didn't know that, I mean, obviously I'm going to look up information. But if I don't know, I asked him what his mortgage was, and his mortgage is like, you know, $345. So he definitely has, it can definitely work.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking it's worth more like in the low 4s range. You know what I mean? Not 5s range. So, you know, it's going to come down to their motivation. But it's all information that we can use that helps us in terms of that. And as far as the agent scenario, when somebody says we're going to talk to several other agents, I'll typically ask if you've spoken to somebody already, when you plan on speaking to other people. I have a different look on it. Some people say they like to be first, be last. You know, I feel like sometimes people say that because they feel they should say that about meeting with other people, and they're not necessarily going to. That's happened a lot to me. I'm like, when are you going to meet with the other people? And they're like, oh, you know, and they don't really give you a firm answer. So the biggest thing is just go in there. I mean, obviously ask the question. If you can be last, if they say we're meeting somebody Thursday and Friday, you can certainly say, well, why don't we do this? Why don't you meet with them? Can you guys meet on Saturday afternoon? I'd love to do that. You always run the risk, though, that somebody else will convince them to sign the paperwork. So,
And
you know,
especially the Scott, that's the point, to me, is that somebody like Scott can close them out. Because he'll ask him, he won't be afraid to ask him, what would keep you from going forward right now? Is there anything I've said
Yeah.
that you're not comfortable with? And he'll close it out, and if there's not, then let's get started, let's go,
Yeah.
you know?
And the other thing that I do, I know different people do it different ways, you gotta be comfortable with it. Depends on the scenario. 99% of the time I'm doing a one-step listing, that's just me. Because what I said to Jeff is, I'm pulling up comps. If they have a really unique property, it's really different, I might change my tune on that, and I might say, well, just come by, take a look, and then I can go back and, but if it's an 8-room, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath colonial in Trumbull, and I know where they are, and I look up the square footage, I'm gonna have a market analysis for them with price per square feet. I'm not gonna give them a number in my package, my pre-listing packet, but when I go there and I see the condition, because some people say, oh, it's in great condition, you look and it's like, it's not great condition. Or some people say, it's okay, we just need a little, and it's really in nice condition. That will determine at what level I would tell them price point wise. But I am prepared, then I feel like they've gone through the information, they know about me, the company, they're not really asking that information. We're going through the analysis part of it, and we can arrive at a value and move forward if that's where it goes. So I typically set it up that way, and sometimes I purposely will say, you know, basically just, you know, my purpose is to, you know, answer any questions you have. I'll have some questions for you, and then I'll take a look at your property, and then I'll go back and we can get some more information and then go through the analysis at that time. So, any other questions on some of the questions that are there, or just any questions in general about?
I have a question.
Sure.
This is something you do every time the same way, because you look pretty rehearsed on it.
Yeah, I do, but I don't necessarily go through all of it. I will tell you this, the couple times that I haven't done it, I've been burned. Sometimes it works in my favor, where, okay, I don't need to do it, I feel like it's okay, and I don't have to go through all that. And it works out okay, but there are times where, you know, I'm like, I should have just gone through the whole thing. Because, and I find that especially with like a referral, personal referral, or somebody that you may know, because you make the assumption that, if you make the assumption, well, they're going with me and I'm good, it's a personal referral, probably the worst thing you can do, because they're still like anybody else, they're probably thinking about talking to other people, and if you don't go through that process and you shortchange it, a lot of times it can come back to bite you. So
Well,
It's-
the
it's-
other person said the same.
Yeah.
yeah.